it's Rob and welcome to Axel's Garage. We're out here with Wanda, and Wanda's gotten beat up over the last couple weeks. So back in November, Wanda was parked exactly right here in the street, across the street from my house, and she was taking a snooze on a Saturday afternoon, and a drunk, what turned out to be a drunk, came around the corner, over exaggerated the turn, and slammed Wanda right here in the fender and the wheel area. We didn't even hear it. I was actually out in the rear yard and didn't hear the crash or anything, but my wife was upstairs in the house and she did hear some tire screeching. So Wanda got hit, wound up on the lawn over there of the person's house across the street from me, and I'll show you a picture of that here. And we didn't even know Wanda was hit until a cop knocked on our door and said, "Hey, do you have a Jeep outside?" And I said, "Yep." He goes, "You might want to come out. It's on your neighbor's lawn." And there you have it. We came out and Wanda was pushed up. Really didn't appear to be damaged all that much, thankfully. Fender, which we didn't anticipate replacing. The headers got a little crack in it. Nothing really serious for if you're making like an off-road Jeep and not like a pristine mall crawler. That little crack there is nothing. This light was blown out. I had another one laying around. This one is cracked but still working. I got another one laying around that I'm going to throw on there from the other Jeep. But the cop came and said that somebody was passing by, saw an accident and reported it. They didn't leave their name or anything and kept going. So we had Wanda up on the lawn and nobody stood around. So my wife said she remembers seeing a black Ford Explorer kind of going back and forth about a house down with the tires, like she said, screeching. And what it turned out to be was the guy was jamming on the brakes in forward and reverse and making the tires screech, and then he took off, she said. Nothing crazy, but he was on the opposite side of the street. She didn't think anything of it, so we decided to scour the neighborhood for ring cameras. So with my wife being all pissed off about this whole thing, she went to every neighbor to try to get ring cameras. I started to look through the footage on the cameras that I have, and I did see a black Explorer at the stop sign on a still shot from my doorbell. And right around the time that we think the accident happened, and then it turned out a neighbor did get the vehicle doing that whole back and forth thing and then driving across the lawn of another neighbor and driving away to nowhere. And we have that on video, and if I can get that in place, I'll give you a clip of that. So the video that you saw was after the accident. Just prior to the accident, the camera was recording it and it heard the accident. So we had our still, and then a couple of seconds later, our still shot of the Explorer at the stop sign, and a couple of seconds later we hear the bang on the video feed, but we don't see the bang until the vehicle pulls into frame of that same video feed, where he goes back and forth, or I'm saying the operator goes back and forth, jamming on the brakes both forward and back, and we're guessing because there was a problem with his driver's side front tire, because that's where he kind of hit. He hit the wheel well, and we know that because all the stuff left on the ground was the wheel well moldings to an Explorer from 04 to 09, because it was printed right on the back of the broken parts. So I took those broken parts, put them in my yard, and we were able to start scouring the neighborhood, because it was a Saturday, and usually on Saturday where we live, there's very little traffic other than local people or somebody doing a little driver's ed kind of thing illegally, because this is the road test area, saying you're not supposed to practice here, but people do practice in the road test area. They live out of the area and they come here and practice. So we were able to try to narrow it down, and I said, well, I think it's somebody local, you know, I'm gonna go looking for this thing. So I scoured the neighborhood. I went from my house east to the next main road, up and down every block looking for a black Explorer with some damage, couldn't find one. The next day, so I went from while I was talking. So where was I at? So did the east side, and the next day, like a psycho, filled up a tumbler of coffee and I went for a ride, and I systematically went through all the streets. So I go to the main road, the two main roads, the corner, so to speak, of the neighborhood, and I drive down one street, nothing, and I make the turn, and boom, there it is. Black Ford Explorer, great trim, with the driver's side wheels sticking out like this, and I'm like, that's the one. So I looked at the wheel well opening, and the wheel well opening was crumbled and broken, and the trim parts that I had in my driveway fit that one like a puzzle. So called the local cops up and says, listen, I was in an accident last night, here's the report number. I found the car that hit me and took off, and they came, figured out where the guy lived, and they grabbed the guy, and the guy admitted to hitting the car and take it off. So we were able to find him and get it solved. I was pretty happy with that outcome, and now what do we do with Wanda? So Stephen came home for Christmas break, and I said to Stephen, I said, all right, well, the whole twin Jeep for the twins thing, we got a big laugh out of that, and we made our videos on it. Is this really the right car for you? Because we can rebuild this one. Really, all it needs for what we were going to do was a fender and a washer bottle that got smashed that's inside the fender. So I said we could fix this one, or we could buy another one that's a little bit more done, or buy one that's already done. Like, what do you want to do? This was supposed to be your project vehicle. And I says, but I know, you know, Steven's a big kid. A big kid. He's an adult now, but he's pretty big, and his friends are pretty big. They're all football players. So I said to Steven, I said, the whole twin joke being over, what do you want to do? Do you want to go with a Cherokee? You want something a little bit bigger? And he said, well, I kind of like something a little bit bigger. So we went looking for something with Steven, and you'll find out what that is in an upcoming video. In the meantime, we've been using Wanda for some errands back and forth. She's still running fine. You know, I had started taking Wanda apart to start doing her over, so we took the headliner board out because the headliner was falling like they are on all these. We took the bumpers off, we took the wheel well flares off, and we were about to get started working on Wanda when this unfortunately happened. So Wanda we bought it from the original owner. So Wanda's going to be going up for sale. So if you're interested in Wanda, drop me an email, let me know in the comments below. But we're going to be dumping Wanda, so this will probably be Wanda's last video unless I make a for sale video and give a walk around of Wanda. But we're going to say goodbye to Wanda, which doesn't mean that this project's going away, because we have a new Wanda, and we don't know what the name of the new vehicle is yet, and I'll show you the new vehicle in a future video. Hope you enjoyed this quick update on Wanda, and as always, thanks for watching.